said it was me. Swat. Fuck, you said it was me.
You killed him, Swat.
Fuck, you said it was me. Swat. Swat. Swat.
Has located a hidden signal under the primary channel. The hidden signal.
Kill me. I've been a war since before either ever seemed existed. You will not kill me.
Look out for Charlie.
Kill me. I've been a war since before either ever seemed existed. You will not kill me.
Look out for Charlie.
I'm gonna bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head.
The Swat rat is undefeated. But before we get into that progress, I would like to sincerely thank everyone who has donated. With Cash App, with my Cash App anyway, I don't know if it's like this with everybody because my apps have a habit of doing weird things. I only have the option to reply with an emoji, not a message. So I'm not ignoring people when they donate, but sending a thumbs up it seems pretty impersonal. So, I'd rather just thank everybody because of the subject matter. I don't want to name names, but thank you to everybody who has donated. It's been pretty hard to keep up with this over the past year, even after finishing the SWAT rat. If I had it my way, I'd be doing this 7 days a week because it's really become something that I'm passionate about and something that I'm extremely interested in. I can't even watch TV or even listen to anything without being reminded of it because it's everywhere. And the cases get cleverly woven into pop culture by misrepresentation. I'd also like to thank the real viewers out there who are paying attention to this work and paying attention to the message, because I believe it's one of the most important subjects of our time, if not the most important, because it ties into so many underlying pieces of our current reality. Due to the subject matter of these videos, the information is being deliberately and aggressively hidden. In 1995, for example, a discovery like the SWAT rat would have been on television or in the news. Up next, man can record mysterious voices that comment about what people are doing in their homes. It would be in the news. But it's sitting here with, 6,000 views in 2023. But we can search all over YouTube and pull up thousands of mystery-ridden channels and radio shows, as long as those channels and radio shows leave you with another mystery, a dozen other questions, and 0 answers. So, if you can share this information, please do. I don't want to do interviews with the media. I want this to reach critical mass without the message, data, and the proof being subverted or taken over by some huckster who attaches some bullshit narrative to it. We have to keep it real. And these UFO and paranormal salesmen out there would be salivating at the idea of turning all this information into some mindfuck operation that would ultimately deceive people while they profited off it. So any help in getting the message out is truly appreciated. And thank you again for the donations. And if you are sharing this information without subverting the message, I commend you. Now, let me explain what I do in the easiest way possible. I work with audio signals the exact same way that people work with SDR sharp, which entails working with radio frequency. Over all these years, I have learned to tune and sculpt audio, physical vibration, the same way that somebody using SDR sharp or shortwave would tune into a radio frequency signal. So the question from a lot of people would be, why don't you just work with SDR sharp? Radio frequency has a huge effect on us, on all living things. But when it comes to this subject, I don't care so much about the actual radio frequency. I care about the physical vibrations. Radio waves can be transduced, like a corona discharge. And that means that radio waves and electricity can be converted into vibration and sound. And when radio waves and electricity are transduced, or electricity is coronaizing, I begin to care at that very moment. So why am I bringing this up? Because my testing of the SPD SWAT rat has gone even further. One of my tests just the other night entailed putting a microphone right against the power outlet in my bedroom, right where the headboard was. A power outlet no different than any other in the United States. So why the power outlet? And that's only because it's an obvious point of where the home wiring is. I could have put a microphone on any wall in the home with the electrical wiring on the other side, because transducing sounds do not care where the outlet is. It's just out of convenience. The power outlet is an obvious place of electricity at that point. So now another question, why don't I just run some leads to the power and record those? Because again, I'm interested in physical vibration, something that people can physically hear, and a microphone is going to pick those up. Recording with leads leading to a recording device of any kind would just lead to more questions, not answers. A microphone is picking up actual sound, physical and mechanical vibration. Any sound, including lower decibel sounds that some might not even be able to hear. And boosting those sounds even by a few decibels can bring something normally overlooked to people's attention. We are going to get into electrical wiring, electronics, and the home operating as an antenna and an acoustic antenna. We're going to get into the drone diesel engine sound, pulse voices, psychic driving, human communication, and interrogation techniques, and what I call the follower frequency. Before we do, I need to state that the electrical grid is no different than a giant antenna. The wiring in your home is connected to your neighbor's home, the power lines down the street, and the power lines miles away. So, this does not need to originate from the power grid. It can hop onto the power grid and piggyback from anywhere. Like a simple signal can cover the air for miles, but it can piggyback on the power grid for a long, long way. When the Russian woodpecker began pulsing in the 70s, it was jumping onto our power lines and riding through the entire power grid, pulsing right up through our televisions, electronics, and our light bulbs, and our bodies. And it did that for over a decade. Television manufacturers began installing what they referred to as woodpecker blankers in TV sets to block out the interference. This signal is no different. This is the new woodpecker, and it is 100% intentional. And you will see that. The testing over the past couple months has proven to me exactly what this is. And with MIT talking about their Mickey Mouse versions of the same thing, it only backs up the work I've done even more. This is an open air system. It is operated in the park, in the woods, at your work, in your home. The difference with indoor places is that you are surrounded by your home wiring, plumbing, and all the electronics and wireless devices that reside there. So it is going to be more intense than somewhere like the park or in a field somewhere. I've proven that an active, automated, ear of God style surveillance system exists that is monitoring everything and everyone in real time. What you're going to hear today should change the way you view your power lines and even the infrastructure around you. And if it doesn't, you really don't belong here anyway. If you're new, I would recommend that you check out the recent videos on the SWAT rat and the surveillance system. There's a playlist dedicated to it on my channel's homepage. So let's dive into what the SWAT rat has proven this time. Undefeated. Now, you should have headphones or decent earbuds or speakers. Speakers with a woofer are best. Studio monitors are great, but I realize that not everybody has those. Nothing was really learned here. However, I'm able to now prove what I've been thinking for a long, long time. Now, I know what this is now, but I have a few more things to go over before I concrete come out and say, this is it, this is what's going on. You know, that's that, right? A lot of people have talked about being able to hear what sounds like beeps, humming, noises in their home. And you have to realize that this is a microphone. It sits just below. So when everything is off at night, you know, you've got the television off, you've got the dryer, the washer off, the hot water tank isn't running, all of that. A lot of times you can hear this. And I've actually very faintly heard what sounds like almost like a broken fax machine in my home at times. You have to remember that this is everywhere. I am not special. My house is not special. I am just testing in my house during this experiment. I have picked up and I have documented the broken fax machine sounds. And they are exactly what I thought they were all along. It almost sounds like an old payphone, like somebody's pressing keys on an old payphone. So we are being bombarded with ELF off the power grid. Alright, the microphone is right up against that outlet. We are being bombarded with that noise, voices, but I'm going beyond the voices, and I am picking up what is creating the voices. And the closer you get to the actual signal, the more mechanical it sounds. When it has time to reverberate around the room or in somebody's dome, it sounds more human. And we are going to find a voice hearer that I can test this out on and prove that the voice hearer is not mentally ill. But in the meantime, this video will validate everything. So let's check out these pulses that are picked up, and it sounds like a broken fax machine or somebody pressing a bunch of keys on an old telephone. Here we go. Now those just sound like beeping, right? Those are syllables to voices. These frequencies are working together, and the beeps are syllables. I'm going to show you that. So each beep is a syllable to a word, and then a series of beeps is a sentence. You know, I'm starting to really believe now that that whole microwave thing was a psyop to keep people off on the far track, because every time I get away from radio towers and start talking about it, people go crazy. All the usual suspects. No, 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 no. They are trying very hard to keep people focused on that microwave thing. Now this is going to get very intense. This is just an example of it in the background when I first started picking it up. So let's move on and let's get into how crazy this gets. Here you are going to witness the acoustic pulses matching up with an ELF voice. Let's check it out. Now you can hear the voice right there. That's the higher voice. The ELF voice is the lower voice. They operate together. This is coming right off the grid. So when your head is up against the headboard and you're sleeping, it is right there making physical noise that you can pick up. Some people hear a chicken or an alarm clock or something crazy that wakes them up, a screeching, a banging. I have documented all of that here. You will hear it. All of this is coming right out of the wall. Funny, just like Mark David Chapman said. Now, let's listen to a pitched up version. So you can hear the voice a little bit better. It is all operating together right on the power grid, and it is 100% intentional. Now what you're going to hear is the same type of beeping and Charlie Brown's teacher come in. We are so close to the signal that it sounds utterly mechanical. When people are sleeping, they're picking this up. Just like MIT talked about reading brain waves, they are sending out these frequencies in the same way. So if you could keep somebody down in a lower brainwave pattern while they were awake and they're sensitized, it is easy to make people hear this stuff. It's not a ghost. It's not a ghoul. It's not a goblin. This is a system, and this is what is waking people up, giving people bad dreams, influencing dreams, and doing everything that it's doing. It can create sounds in the home. It can create fake hauntings. And here it is in its raw, unadulterated form. This is almost more important than the voices that we picked up in other videos. This is almost more important because it shows that it's deliberate and it's coming from all the infrastructure around us. You don't know how many times I have talked to people that have heard what they thought was a dog barking out in the distance when they were lying in bed or sitting around in the quiet late at night. Here, you're going to hear a lot of weird, strange, warped noises coming right off the grid. And then you're going to hear what sounds like artificial dogs barking. Now, if it was very quiet, somebody could hear this. So let's check this out. I don't have a dog. There wasn't a dog barking. All these tests were done between 3 and 5 a.m. as I was tuning and tweaking and getting past the voices, past the initial voices, and straight to the, as close to the signal as I could possibly get. Let's check out the fake dog barking again. Now, I have a longer one where it came back in and it did it for even longer. And here you can tell they are completely artificial, but it could be totally mistaken for dogs barking, or it could influence dreams and people could be thinking that they're hearing a dog barking. Sounds like a Chihuahua, or a poodle, or a Yorkshire Terrier. That is amazing. Now, you're not going to hear it that clear. You're going to hear it faintly, and you're going to think that you're hearing a dog barking, and it's not really there. Now, ask yourself, why is that coming up the power grid? Why is there a physical vibration, a physical sound in rooms late at night, 24 hours a day even, doing this? What is the purpose? We are on the surface of the onion right now. Now, here's an excellent example of the ELF drone that warps and turns into voices as it is warping and twisting. And it almost sounds like somebody's operating a subwoofer, like close to your house. With that said, a subwoofer or very good headphones is going to accentuate this. You probably aren't going to be able to hear this on a phone. I don't know. Here we go. Now that's crazy. Listen to that warp and tweak. It's saying something. Now let's pitch it up. Isn't that crazy? Now that is coming right off the grid. Now, as I began to tune and tune, I began to find the idle, the low frequency / ELF drone that everybody talks about, that people can hear as a type of, what they call a type of tinnitus, right? That is exactly what people describe. It sounds like a diesel idling or a muscle car idling down the street. I have picked this up before, but this is the clearest it has ever been picked up, and we can prove it now. So let's check this out. Here is the ELF drone right here. And it sounds, that is exactly what people describe. And let's check out what happens here. And there are the beeps. Those are pulses, acoustic pulses. I will get into what they actually are soon, but they are very, very important. If people realized that this is key to everything, these beeps are key to everything. It's over. We are going to have this nailed down real fucking soon. Now see, it's following the voice there. Matched it up right with the voice. It leads the voice. The key leads the voice. That is so important. Now here is more with the acoustic pulses and the the engine idling sound, the low ELF drone. Check this out for a minute. This is really important. We have so much to go over, and I'm trying to cram all this in and try to keep it to a, a listening length. That is coming off the grid right into your houses, right into your bedroom. And it's a physical sound that is happening right next to your head. Think about this. I talked about this earlier. I want to show you this real quick. When you pull away and you record in the middle of the room rather than right up against the wall, it sounds like a real human being talking. And here is one of those voices, and it comes in and it says, to pay the bank. And that's what it says. I've listened to it 1,000 times, but it just says one thing. That's the one that rose up on the ELF enough to show up in the recording, in the room. It was amplified. Let's check it out. To pay the bank. I wanted to show you so those people out there understand that the further you get away from the actual signal and into the reverberation, the more it sounds like a human voice. Now, I've talked so many times about this having a sing-songy tone to it. When you hear the signal itself, it's almost like it's talking to the BPM or the melody of a song, right? So check this out. Here, a sing-songy voice is going to say 4 syllables. Bam, 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 bam. It is talking, it is busted, 100%. I'm telling you, we are so close now, it's inspiring. It does it again, but a little bit higher, like a half a step higher. Now, here's the first one. Yeah, it's like a half a step up. And then right back to that idling sound that people hear before their hearing gets attacked with artificial tinnitus, or before they start to hear things. A lot of people out there will hear this 24 hours a day, but it's faint, so you can't tell exactly what it is. It just sounds like a car parked down the street idling, or a semi idling down the street. Now I pitched that down a little bit. Check it out. And again, these are raw signals that I'm doing with the SWAT rat right off the wall live. This is what's coming out. This is the recording. I'm not doing anything but leveling out the volume, maybe making it a little bit louder, maybe making it a little quieter, depending. This one is very, very important. A lot of people hear this in their sleep, something that sounds like it. It wakes them up. Or when they're going into sleep paralysis or an OBE or anything like that, they may hear this tone. What it sounds like is you're going to hear some noises, and it's going to morph into what sounds like a bumblebee or a didgeridoo. Here we go. There it is. There it is. It's going to morph right into that tone, and it's going to stay there. That is so important. It's going to lead to so much stuff. This is exactly what is going on. So many people have heard that. Or they will start to hear a screeching, and the screeching will wake them up. Let's check that out. Here comes the screeching. Sounds like a tea kettle. That would jar you out of sleep. As the brain waves go down in sleep, these are there to subvert. And not only that, but you can use tones like this to condition and or push the brain down virtual cattle chutes during sleep to depict stage of sleep they are going to enter or where their brain waves are going to go. And if the system didn't like the stage of your sleep or where your brain waves were going, it could screech you to wake you up, start over, or hum you to remind you of the OBE and send you into an OBE experience when you are or sleep paralysis experience when you are entering sleep or just falling asleep, because that's usually when it happens. You know, you need to think about all this stuff. This isn't like something that's super high tech. This is borderline retarded Pavlovian style training. This is very easy to understand, and it is operational. And we haven't even gotten into the follower frequency yet. Here is more hum, diesel engine sound that people hear. This is a different frequency that is going on at the same time as the rest of them. Here it is in all its glory. It sounds like a car idling or what people hear as the hum. And here it is, coming right off the grid. There is a purpose for all of this, and this explains so much. So now let's get into the follower frequency. I have told people for years now that there is frequency measuring frequency, and there is a signal when it comes into contact with other frequencies, other sound, it reacts. And I was able to tune in and find this follower frequency and bring it into the very audible hearing range, boost it up. What I began to do was I began to just walk around my house and do normal things. I was banging on some stuff. I was walking around. I was taking a bike apart at one point. And the frequency of the follower frequency, it's a drone signal that drones along. And if you make noise, it rises to the volume, the decibels, and to the frequency that you just made, or whatever just made. It is monitoring things in real time, like an Alexa. What is this comparable to? A lot of people out there have artificial tinnitus. And when you have this artificial tinnitus that isn't real, that's being caused by frequencies, ELF, radio frequency, and other issues around you, when the volume of something goes up, your tinnitus frequency will change pitch. When you hammer on something, when there's a loud noise, the tinnitus frequency will change pitch just like the follower frequency, because the follower frequency and the tinnitus are the same thing. They are operating the exact same way, and people are just hearing it. The tinnitus is just a higher frequency. It's usually between 8200 hertz and like 12,800 hertz. Otherwise, it's the same thing. They are directly related. And I'm telling you, this is what's going on. So let's check out an example of the follower frequency. I need to test this when the noise is over a certain decibel. The follower frequency will change pitch and volume. And then if there's nothing else, it will go back down. If you make a louder sound again, it will get even higher and keep getting higher and higher, just like people's artificial tinnitus. It's the same thing, and it operates the same way. Here is the follower frequency in its natural drone state. Alright? So what I was doing here is I was working on a bike here, and I was banging and taking it apart. On the third loud bang, the follower frequency goes way up instantly, and this happens repeatedly throughout the test, throughout the recording. Let's check it out. On that third hard hit, it changed frequency. And then it went back down. What if it doesn't have anything else, it will go back down, and then it happens again. See, it goes up with each hit. Listen to that. That is completely deliberate. It's been caught. It's been busted. This is the same way that people's artificial tinnitus operates, in the same way. And those who have it can attest to this. It does the exact same thing. But this isn't some fluke. This happened over and over. Now in this example, I left the lead of drone. It's going to go on and on and on. It's not until noise is made that the drone sound decides to change frequency a lot. So let's check it out. Now when the sound was loud enough, if you caught that, the pitch changed. Then it goes up twice, these two loud steps, here and here. That's a monitoring frequency. It's monitoring. Then I'm making a lot of noise there and it goes crazy. Listen to it. This one is hilarious. I was walking around the room doing a couple things, and the footsteps are louder, so it's changing with each footstep. Check it out. It's just like the pole position signal that I showed you a couple videos ago. Here's a loud noise and it goes way up. Even higher. Then it goes back down to its natural state. It is monitoring sound. I've always talked about two cans in a string. Two kids with two cans in a string. This is the string. And you can actually hear it warp around that sound. It garbles. Now this one is interesting. It's a lower noise. So the noise is made and the frequency of the follower frequency dips. But after 4 seconds of hearing nothing, exactly 4 seconds of hearing absolutely nothing, it returns to normal. It goes down. Then it goes back to normal right there. That is the follower frequency. This one's funny. I put on a radio show to test it, but I put it on in the other room, so it wasn't really having an effect on it. However, as I was moving around, it goes way up when I'm moving around. This is not a fluke. It happens over and over and over through the entire test. Here's the big hit. Just like people's artificial tinnitus, it jumps way up in pitch. Instantaneously, like maybe the delay of a cell phone call. That is amazing stuff, and we have the proof now. Here it changes in frequency with my steps again, but it's like musical because I'm stepping 3 times and then I believe 3 times. Let's check it out. It goes down and then it's going to go up. It's undeniable. It follows every sound being made in the house as long as it's over a certain decibel. And I'll find that decibel out soon. In this one, a loud bump is made, and you can actually hear it jump up and then go down in steps back to its idle stage. Just idling along, droning. Here comes the bump. And it slowly steps back down to its original state. That is surveillance. That is what surveillance does. This is a surveillance tool. If you can't see how or why, check out the other SWAT rat videos first and it will kind of guide you into this. So here I turn the radio show up really loud to test it, right? And you're going to hear the radio show begin to change the frequency of the follower frequency. It's going to continuously change because of the syllables of the guy talking on the radio. So what is happening here? It is monitoring voice. Any sound. Doesn't matter. Check it out. There was one syllable loud enough. Then it goes down there. That was a syllable. Changes there. Almost instantaneously. There was a cricket outside my window too when I was doing that part. It's between like 3 and 5 a.m. Now this one's funny. This is actually a voice that isn't supposed to be in the recording, but it jumps up, and it jumps up loud enough that the follower frequency actually bends to the voice, which is very interesting. Check this out. Interesting. Now I decided to do one more test. I laid down in the bed, put the mic sort of close to the wall, maybe a foot away from it, and then I recorded and pretended to be going to sleep, just for the hell of it. What I got was a lot of talking, and it began to pick up that acoustic beeping as well. So let's check that out real quick. This was the phony sleep test. So here we go. And that keeps going and going and going. So we have covered the modem sound that people hear, the beeping sound that people hear, the tinnitus sound that people hear, the elevation in tinnitus frequency, the change of pitch in tinnitus frequency. We have dealt with the hum, with the diesel engine sound, all in just a couple of tests. We are making progress. There is great value in this stuff, and I really believe that this is just as important as hearing the actual voices from the last handful of videos. This is extremely, extremely important. All of it. The follower frequency, all of it. We are on the cusp of something huge. So all these years of work are paying off now, finally. Now, something that I found pretty important to do to show people was to make a recording while I was testing with the SWAT rat, just to show people how this sits just underneath all the ambient sound in the room. I'm going to show you how loud it is really quickly with the SWAT rat on and with the SWAT rat off in a room. It's just a recording I made with the phone while I was doing it. Let's listen to it. SWAT rat on.
Swat rat off. That is what is in the room, just under your normal hearing level. SWAT rat up.
And these are physical vibrations, mechanical vibrations, sound, not radio waves, not turning a radio up, turning a recorder up that is recording with a microphone. That is very, very important. Lastly, a lot of people have been aggressively coming after, the SWAT rat, saying, release it. Release. Here's one that says, release so we can replicate. Not even like, hey dude, I do this and this and this and I'd like to try it. It's just release so we can replicate, stuff like that. People are demanding I release it. Well, I'm going to tell you something. First off, the SWAT rat isn't a magic box that does all the work for you. I mean, you may have envisioned that, but that's not the case. However, I'm going to tell you the ingredients for the SWAT rat in this video. I'm going to tell you what you need to do it. And then you're never going to bother me about it again until I'm ready to talk about it on my terms. I'm just done with entitled people just demanding shit. I'm done with it. If you get pushy, I'm going to Owen Benjamin you. I'm just done with it. There's only a handful of them, but it's, whatever. So you want to SWAT rat it up. Well, here's what you need. I'm releasing the plans. You need a microphone. Any mic will do, but it's best to have at least a, mid-range microphone. One recording program. I use older recording programs for this kind of stuff. You need 2 real studio monitors that you can hear with. You need 2 good ears. You need like a old setup, like a 32-1200B or a Gemini MX 2200. You need 3 gates. You need 3 compressors. You need 4 paragraphic equalizers. The redundancy is for a reason. You need 2 preamps. You need 1 tube preamp. You need 1 exciter. You need 1 brick wall limiter. You need 1 harmonics unit. You need 2 modulators. You need 3 sound shifters, 2 format tweakers, 1 bass re-EQ, 2 length and width tweakers. You can use other programs for that. You need 2 doublers. And lastly, you need 1 noise reduction unit only for sound shaping. You're not actually using the noise reduction. But see, you have to know how to use all this. It's not a magic box yet. And with all that, get to work. They're not going to teach you this at a school. When I started figuring this out, I had to literally take everything that I learned about audio and throw it in the trash. If you put, schooling walls up around you, you are screwed. So that's what you need. It says here, release the plans, then I can buy the equipment. Well, there it is, dude. Now, I could absolutely prepackage something like this, but I'm not doing that until I'm done testing this out and I know what it is and what it does. So there's the ingredients, bro. Knock yourself out. That's it for now. Look out for Charlie.
Look out for Charlie.